I am a citizen who has brought a problem to my elected officials who are paid to administer the township. I am not paid to bring a solution. Though if you guys are throwing around consulting dollars and contracts, I would be happy to draw one up for the hours I've spent on it. Citizens in my HOA have paid over $100,000 in the last 20 years for 9 streetlights. Although safety is relatively priceless, this price is not reasonable. In fact, it's so unreasonable, the state of Ohio instructed Ohio municipalities not to enter in additional agreements about 15 years ago. Duke even told me this after I brought up the absurd costs. Duke had to tell me this. Why did the state of Ohio say this? Because it's a bad deal for the citizens. Obviously, $100,000 for 9 streetlights in 20 years. This communication was sent to Sycamore Township, yet residents did not hear it and probably have not heard it. But sure, let me volunteer and spend my time to do the administrator's job. I do not consider a solution anything that would raise my taxes, is what Mr. Abraham said, and I concur. Any good business should recognize that for over 15 years, this problem has existed. Sadly, my wife did not look closer at our property tax bill, which is what I provided you. You can see the assessed line, and it shows that we pay $90 a year. There are 54 houses in our community, which is about $4,900 a year. This has been going on for 22 years. It's over almost $110,000 we've paid. This is the agreement you signed, Mr. Porter, in 1996. Is there another solution? Yes, there is. I was told by Duke, after being directed there by the township employees, because they could not get a hold of anyone at Duke, evidently. I guess my phone works better than the township phones. That any agreement would have to be forwarded to the township. So I worked with Duke. I got a proposal. It's not my duty, but I got a proposal because it's my tax dollars, my fees, whatever, that are being wasted. And that was over a month ago. The proposal has a 90-day expiration. Sounds like you ladies are familiar with this process. And using a Freedom of Information request, I got the proposal from Sycamore Township. I still have not heard from Mr. Porter or Mr. Bickford regarding this. Mr. Porter, do you remember any of these items I brought up on this subject?
Mr. Ford, let me talk to you about street lighting, because I'm pretty familiar with it. A street light is, the township has nothing to do with putting in street lights. It's all done by Duke. It's all citizen generated, so 51% of the residents of your street lighting district had to come to us with a petition signed by over 51% for us to even get involved.
I have copies of that.
Okay, and your wife signed it, so I guess she owns your property.
We didn't live there at the time. But yes, the residents did sign that back in 1996.
They signed the petition and asked me to contact Duke, find how much it would cost, and we had a hearing here 22 years ago or whatever it was, and the trustees at the time, after input from your neighbors, and they had gotten a notice and saw how much it was going to cost, told us to go ahead and put in the street lights and assess their property. If they didn't want it, or they didn't want street lights, the trustees aren't going to do it. We have no desire to put street lights in if the neighbors don't want it, and there are lots of neighborhoods that don't want street lights. So it's all driven by the residents. I'm not going to go into High Point, for example, and say you have to have street lights. If they want street lights, and they've tried to do it, I'm familiar with the process that High Point did. They tried to get street lights. If they want them, I'm all for it. I'll present their petition to Duke, get what the cost is going to be, and let them know, and they can come in and tell the trustees whether they want it or not. But the very first thing I need is I need 51% of the property owners in the proposed district to sign the petition that they wanted. In High Point, the problem we had, and they're aware of it, is that petition a lot of times was signed by renters who didn't own the property. So we couldn't, when we analyzed the petition, we didn't have 51%. So, I mean, I'm sorry, I would like for them to have streetlights if they want them, I'm all for it. But the only place I can get them from is Duke. And so I can't get multiple proposals. Duke is the only one that supplies streetlights in the township. And in order to do it, I have to have 51% of the property owners in the proposed district present us with a petition saying that they want them. So that's how it works.
Who sets the rates?
Duke.
That's what I thought. Your objection does not seem to be to streetlights, it's to the rate that you're paying for the streetlights. And we don't set the rate, Duke sets the rate.
Well, in Macaulay Woods, they are decorative streetlights. They are a special streetlight, and back then, Duke had a high rate of they were expensive simply because Duke had to maintain those lights in perpetuity, the fixtures change and everything else.
But the residents came to us and said that that's what they
That's what
wanted,
they
and they
wanted.
knew what it would cost, and they
Exactly.
approved it.
Exactly, so, and I think Mr. Fortin went to Duke to try to get different streetlights. Duke came to us with a proposal, and then I saw Debbie send it back out to you, along with instructions how if you want to modify your district, what to do.
So just to be clear, I was not living there back in 1992. We get it. If $110,000 has been spent in 22 years, the upfront cost was $20,000 if they were paid for upfront. So that means that $3,600 a year is paid per light since that time. It's a bad structure, it's a bad deal.
Again, that's, your argument there is with Duke, they set the rate.
I understand, maybe I wasn't clear enough when I was speaking before. There was a communication sent by the state of Ohio from PUCO, if you're familiar with that, that said no community should enter into these type of agreements going forward. As a result, Duke sent a communique to the township, probably addressed to you, Mr. Porter, that said, we have other options. When I called Duke, they said, there are other options, because I said, well, what can I do? This is an absurd rate. And they told me about it. I had to do that. And I said, okay, what do I have to do? They said, we can't work with you anymore, we have to go to the township. So guess what? Here I am, still
What are the
waiting.
other options, I guess is my question. Is it a new lighting district, is it different fixtures? What is it?
I don't know. I came 2 months ago and asked for your guys' input. I have a day job. I've got kids, I've got a house.
Well, so
I've got other
do I, and so does
responsibilities.
everyone else up here.
I'm not compensated to do this. You're compensated to do this. If you want to sign a consulting agreement with me, I'd be happy to draft one.
You're the
It'll be
last
under
person I want to sign
$70,000. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I said
Is
you
this
were
the way
last
you
person I
insulted
want
Marcy Longnecker to a, I'm sorry, I didn't mean
sorry.
to interrupt.
Yeah.
But you know what? This
I got it,
insulting has gotta
please. Let's get
stop.
back to this.
I came here and asked for a solution. I asked for a solution, and your solution, if you don't remember, was turn off the lights. And that's what you said, Tom.
No, I didn't say that. I would never say that.
Okay, all right.
If you want lights, you can have lights. I would never say
I
that.
encourage streetlights. Let me get
Okay,
that on the
but
record. I encourage
there's
streetlights.
gotta be another solution.
The
I'm
only-
looking at one, but it's not my decision.
The only way that I know to establish a street lighting district is with 51% of the residents coming with a petition.
Okay, all right. I can see I'm just wasting my time here. Thank you for your service, and have a good evening.